Hi, I'm Dr. Ted, and I'm part of the Integrated Behavioral Health team here at Northampton Area Pediatrics. So, quick disclaimer, I'm going to be giving an educational message, something to think about, and it's not a substitute for any direct advice from any of the staff at NAP. Okay, so disclaimer in place. I have an item that I think deserves the attention of anyone who wants to take down their stress level down a notch, or to turn the dial down on the pressure that you may put on yourself and maybe others are putting on you. And this has to do with how you relate to your mistakes and when things don't match up to what you expected. It's when you begin to call yourself stupid because you didn't get the grade you'd hoped for in that last math test. Or maybe you messed up in a sport you're playing or a musical instrument during a performance. And then you end up talking to yourself in a way that you would never talk to a good friend. This sort of stuff can fall under the umbrella of perfectionism, which is basically having an unrealistically high standard for yourself and, importantly, defining your self-worth in terms of how well you do on something. And you can be putting this pressure all on yourself, what we call self-driven perfectionism. Or it can come from people who put too much emphasis on your grades or how you do on your sport or any other performance-related activity. And here we are probably kind of talking about parents and coaches, maybe some teachers. But you can also get this from your friends. And feeling that you have to be perfect and any mistake or misstep is going to be a disaster has the potential to add so much stress to your life, making it hard to socialize, perform in a sport, or do any number of and do a number on how you feel about your body. So, my question to you is, would you be willing to think about how you talk to yourself, in particular when you make a mistake, and whether you are being bossed around by a harsh inner critic, Mr. Perfect as it were? That would really be helpful if we could begin to think in those terms. And if we can begin to notice something, then we have the possibility of changing it. And rather than, I'm so stupid, we could be saying, whatever, everybody makes mistakes. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying you shouldn't be trying to do your best or strive for excellence. We want to keep that part that encourages you to do your best. But we want to turn down that volume on that voice that says, in so many words, that what you're doing is never good enough. So, if you could be a little curious about how you're talking to yourself and what type of talk encourages you and what type puts you more in a bad mood, we would be heading in the right direction. Perfectionism, or as I sometimes call it, Mr. Perfect, he's a tough customer. And I think it's really helpful to learn a little bit more about who you're dealing with. Just like if you're on a sports team, it's good to know something about your opponent. Scout them out, as it were. So, if you like to read, consider reading up on perfectionism. And here are just two of many possibilities. When mistakes make you quake, and that's for elementary school kids. And for middle school and high school, the Perfectionist's Guide to Not Being Perfect by Bonnie Zucker. So those are two possibilities, if you like to read. But if you take in information more by hearing and listening, consider a podcast or a YouTube video. And obviously you can Google Dr. Google too on that one. But it's really good to get to know who you're dealing with, kind of, and give that some thought. So let's see if we can out Mr. Perfect and turn the volume down on his talk. Okay? Thanks for listening.